Hello again. As you may have seen by now, LEGO has unveiled the latest Creator Expert modular building, and it is the Corner Garage. In this video, I'm going to go through the pictures that they've shown and share just my own personal subjective thoughts about it. Not as a preview to my eventual review of the thing once it's released, but just telling you how I feel. Because, well, a lot of people have asked for videos like this, and as it turns out, I don't mind doing them. The set is going to retail for $200 US, 160 British pounds, or roughly 180 euros, which will vary from country to country within the Eurozone. All of those numbers, to me, sound extremely reasonable given the part count of over 2,500. As expected, LEGO is continuing on with the 1950s Americana theme that they started with the diner set, and pretty much everything in this new one looks like it fits right into that era. The shape of the building is very different from anything that they've done up to this point in this line, and I like that fact just by itself without looking at any specifics just yet. I like variety and appreciate their willingness to try something so different here. I also personally really respect the color scheme. So much of the dark orange contrasts nicely against the subtle sand blue, and there's plenty of sand blue with all of the window and door frames from the second and third floors. I like the little bit of tan, just regular tan that they slide through there horizontally. It gives it a nice little bit of highlight, I think. And I like the octane colors for the lower floor. They went with a dark green rather than just a regular green, which, I don't know, makes it feel a little bit more classy. The ground floor plan is what is most different from what they've done up to this point, because they have the whole driveway that goes across two perpendicular streets. This is obviously a corner unit. It's really not going to work very well in the middle of a block, though there may be some ways to work that out by giving yourself an extra strip of driveway to connect to the garage over on the right-hand side. They fully tiled off this area. Might look even a little bit too shiny for what it's supposed to be, but it presents very nicely, and I don't see anything offhand that looks out of place. They've got the classic glass lamp style gas pump, and that does use a printed piece. There are no stickers in this set whatsoever, so anything that looks like a decoration is a print, and that's a new color for the Vespa style scooter there in medium azure. LEGO definitely cheated to get some of these photos by disassembling quite a bit of the place and taking off some walls, but this lets you see into the vehicle maintenance bay, the garage itself, which has a vehicle lift in there. It's also looking like a pretty nice tow truck build with an actual working bar that will raise and lower, and they show it on the box that it'll work with the pink Elvis Cadillac, not Cadillac, from the diner set. And they've got a nice build using a Harry Potter wand for the bar on the tire removing and mounting tool. This is another angle on the same area. This is the customer walk-in area and customer service and checkout counter for the car service bay. Overall, this is a nice start, and one thing that the official pictures don't show you is the nice roll-up garage, which actually rolls, unlike the traditional ones that use those same pieces and have sliders that take the garage door panels up and above to slide horizontally across the top of the inner space. This actually rolls up. Check out the review that's already been published over at brickset.com to see how that looks. Now over on the left, you see the medium blue colored door. That takes you to the stairway that goes up to the next floor. And that next floor is dedicated to an animal clinic or a veterinary clinic. There's also a stairway that continues up to the third floor, and that takes a little bit of the space away. You can see how heavily they invested into the dark orange for this set, with the corner tiles even being created in that color. There are a handful of pieces that have never been made in this color before, plus a lot of them that have been made before, but that just haven't been used very frequently. The interior space is used, I think, pretty well. Notice that they did go very small on the furniture and did use some of the relatively new curved pieces on the back. I think white is a new color for 2019 for those. I've seen them in gray previously, and other companies other than LEGO have had parts just like that for many years now. But, you know, a good use of space, usable furniture, and they did preserve enough floor space, which is really important to be able to actually get your minifigures in there and pose them. Here's another picture that was taken with the set partially disassembled, so you can see in there easily, but they do have some nice small builds for the lab and diagnostic equipment, a nice lamp back there in the back, and yeah, just again, I think it's a pretty nice use of space. One of the more interesting things that they've done with the build here, and you'll see this if you look in corners where they have angles that come together. There's a little bit of it on the wall in the back with the black board, I think is what it's supposed to be. You can see just above it in the white area. You can also see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen the gray colored 1x2 rounded plate piece. They're using that piece, and in some cases multiples of that piece stacked on top of each other, to create variable hinges that have a lot of friction in them. So they're using them to help connect things at these angles in ways that will be relatively rigid and don't have a actual hinge pivot section sticking out from them. I've experimented with that technique already myself in at least one of my mocks, and it's an invaluable technique. It's fully legal and allows you to just have so much more flexibility than you could ever with the official hinge pieces. So I'm glad to see them using that and really reinforcing that as something that the official Lego folks like to do. Also notice, so this is the third floor here, looking from the outside. Notice that in addition to the quarter round dark orange tiles that are, you know, the 1x1s down along the base for some decoration, they also have the 1x1 double sloped. It's kind of like a cheese slope, but in the form of a double sloped roof in gray, a whole bar of or band of gray going across there. Lots of those included in this set. I'm personally looking forward to those being available in that color. Just grays in general are very, very useful. And the bay window over on the right hand side, there was one on the level below us as well, but that's made using a recolor of a 2x6x2, I believe it is, windscreen piece. You've got them mounted sideways on the sides with just regular clear panels down the middle. So rather than using the preformed bay window piece that they already have, which I believe would have been much too tall for this space, rather than just coming up with a different color for that, they came up with an actual build. They did recolor a part to do it, but I think it looks good. This third floor is an apartment, and it looks like it has the major things that you need. There's another couch build here that is a little bit on the small side, but it does work. They've got a very old style TV there. Has the obligatory rabbit ears coming off the back. The shaping of this doesn't look quite right to me personally. I don't know what all it is. I actually kind of feel like the use of the brown printed tile is a little bit weird here. Just personal opinion. I kind of wish that was done in a different color to represent the very, very curved screens that were used in those days. This looks a little bit too flat. The kitchen looks nice and has a little bit of counter space and some nice detailing for the amount of space that it uses. And in the corner is just the smallest of bathrooms. They did not furnish an official photo for that, but basically just has a toilet. Lastly, there is access via the stairs to get all the way up to the roof, and if you look around the edges at the points where the different angles of the sides come together, you can see more of the stacked 1x2 rounded plates in use there. Not a lot of detail on the top of the roof itself. I feel like for a pedestrian accessible area, this could be detailed a little bit more with just some more stuff for the figures to look at or to interact with, but it's definitely a good start. The figures in this set are a little bit of a letdown to me personally. I don't mean to seem ungrateful or anything, but I don't really see anything new here. Possibly one of the faces for one of the mechanics, but everything else looks existing to me. And you know, the creator line, especially with the expert stuff, has brought us some really, really nice new torsos in the past, and would have been nice to see some of that, or maybe a different color that we haven't seen in a dual molded set of legs or something. Yeah, so yeah, kind of plain there. LEGO published this image showing new and or interesting pieces. Some of these definitely are not new, but they just wanted to fill up the page a little bit more with things that folks might be looking for. I like the dark green colored door frame, regular sized door frame. Of course, corner tiles are always a good thing. Black color for the ice skate piece is going to be super useful for very small details. You can see the prints here, and there are a couple of brand new designs of pieces never seen before. And if you really want to look into those more carefully and take a deeper dive, definitely check out the article, or by now possibly articles, at the New Elementary website. Just Google New Elementary LEGO and you'll find them. Or just go to newelementary.com and browse around and have some fun. This is the most dark orange I think that we've seen in anything from LEGO since the Town Hall set, and that one, in comparison to this, looks very, very plain with just its level of detail. This is definitely at least a generation ahead in its design sophistication, and a lot of that comes from just what parts are available today. It's probably boring to hear this, but I definitely do like most of what I see here. I will wait to truly pass judgment until I, get it in my hands. The one thing that I don't like just looking at it right here from the front is how the garage sticks out over on the right. It almost feels like the garage and that whole lower unit wants to be its own thing. Wants to be just a single story unit by itself on a corner. I think that would look better integrated into its surroundings. But of course, LEGO couldn't release something that small in this line. So, they needed to use at least one base plate, and I think the way things are fit together does work. I know that some garages have been integrated into the lower floor, or as the lower floor of buildings like this, in buildings of this era. Just that little step out portion looks awkward to me, especially with the overhang, the awning for the center island where you get gas being curved around the edges, and then that part over there is squared off. Otherwise, though, I feel like there's some really nice, kind sensibility that went into the design of this, with colors, with shapes, with thoughts about adult fans and teen fans, more sophisticated builders, actual customers, what they will like to see. And, some techniques were introduced, some pieces were introduced. That's all useful, even if you don't like the finished product here. If you want to modify it, or you just want to take inspiration from it and take its pieces and make your own stuff. There's a lot good here for a lot of different people, I think. Definitely don't expect them to do another corner unit for a while. I think that they're going to need to make at least 2 more regular side of the street buildings to go in the 1950s line before considering going in a different direction again. But so far, so good. So that's it for my look at this one for now. As always, I will definitely buy the thing once it becomes available to purchase. I will build it and I will review it. And at that time, some of my thoughts may change once I actually have this thing in front of me and in my hands. For now, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.